Good morning. You there, son?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Long time no see.
Yes.
It's been a while. I don't even know. Hold on, let me look. Last time I went live,
I see
January 24th.
Wow, dang.
I know.
I see you
It's
said, Cindy, we must have the Puerto Rican entrance. Sorry.
It was only 3 minutes. I'm proud of you. Are you kidding me?
Guys, I was fighting with my damn avatar. It wouldn't, and I didn't want to have just a white bubble. I was fighting with the damn avatar for like 3 minutes. Sorry about that.
Oh, good. Sometimes I hate StreamYard. I
Mm-hmm.
confidently say that I hate Restream more because I tried to hop up on Sophie's panel the other day and it
Oh my
just
God.
booted me. Like I turned my Wi-Fi off and was just using like the data, and it still just
Mm-hmm.
kept booting me. So I gave up.
But it kept doing that to Psycho Bunny too. So it
Yeah,
wasn't just you.
it's weird. Good
Mm-hmm.
morning, Sophie. I hope you had an awesome birthday yesterday.
Yes. Sunday was her birthday.
Oh yeah, Sunday. Got the
Uh-huh.
days. You just
Yeah.
reminded me that it was Tuesday just by saying that. And I have off Tuesdays now, so that's nice.
That's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good morning, Pop.
Sorry, I'm
Yes.
just making
All
my
of that.
coffee real quick.
Hey, JJ.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yes.
be doing 2 lives today. Yours and Sophie's.
You
Gonna
are
be
a busy
popular.
lady today.
I'm telling you.
Everyone wants a piece of you. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Barbie. Good to see you. Hey, Jen and
Yeah, good
Barrett.
to see you guys.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've seen a
Mm-hmm.
couple people. I mean, I really haven't been many places, but of course, Code is one I go to, and I see a couple
Mm-hmm.
people there. So it's nice to be able to keep in touch.
Yeah, I've been missing his streams lately. My code.
He's had some really good ones. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I turned off my YouTube notifications
Mm-hmm.
last Friday, and
Uh-huh.
I've been missing like a lot of streams because you don't get notified.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're going to hear it a lot in the stuff we react to today. It's about protecting your peace first.
Yes.
So I do feel bad for missing people's streams. I do. But hey, Sassy. Thank
Hey,
you guys for
guys. Hey,
coming.
Sassy. Yeah, thank you
But
all.
Cindy knew, like, I didn't promo this or anything. So thank you
No.
guys.
Yeah.
And there's reasons for that. I tried to
Yes.
give everyone the respectful 30-minute notification, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start off by saying, yes, like my whole schedule has flipped since the last time I was live. And I know Cindy and a couple others know this, but basically I pitched a position to one of my big bosses and they loved it. And it was beneficial to them, beneficial to me. So for the first time in over 10 years, me and my husband are on the same work schedule.
That is awesome. That's
It's amazing.
amazing. Yeah,
It
it's
really
amazing.
I
And
mean, I can't tell
congratulations for
you.
your new position.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah.
It's really cool. Like I can't believe like I pitched this idea and I'm telling you to one of my big bosses. And like she stopped me like mid conversation, was like, hold that thought, and went to like my regular big boss and pitched it
Mm-hmm.
to him. And an hour later, he was like, hey, why don't you come in Monday and we'll sit down and talk about it. And then
Wow.
Monday, he was like, you start Wednesday. So now I'm able to get my kids on the bus. I'm able to be home to get them off the bus. And
Yep.
I work alone. I work
Yes.
alone.
Yes.
It's everything I ever wanted. So it's been
I'm
going
really
really good.
happy for you. I'm really,
Thank
really
you.
happy for you. Seriously,
Yeah.
congratulations. You deserve it. You're a hard worker and you deserve it. So
Thank you. So yeah, DoorDash is going to go to the wayside a little bit, but that's okay.
I hear you. I hear
That's
you.
okay. Hey, Stevie
Yeah.
Lee. Good to see you.
And it's so good to see all you guys, Barbie and Jen and Barrett, all of you guys.
Yeah, it's been a while. So today I have some clips and timestamps, and I'm just going to talk about the channels real quick. And I know, Cindy, that I've shown you like shorts from these people's channel before, and they go by K and Tay. And I don't even know, it's been years. I started following them, I want to say on Facebook. And then, of course, with the algorithms, they started like popping up on my YouTube feed. But they mainly do shorts. They're a couple. They've been together 10 years. Just a year ago, they had their first child.
Aww.
And it's so sweet. Like, they have the most wholesome. I mean, if you're a mom, you're going to love this couple and their shorts. So I'm going to put like all the links for the 3 channels that I'm taking from today in the description. But K and Tay, I love them. They're so adorable. But like with all of YouTube, there's always drama, right?
Yep.
So they were victim to that, of course. And something that happened years ago, like basically they have haters. And some of them are real life haters that have came on and leaked stuff to make them like get more hate. So
from their personal life, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And it's just crazy to me that can happen to people like this. If you guys were to watch their shorts, like they're just sweet and wholesome, and there's no reason for this.
Yeah.
So basically, stuff started getting leaked how she had a child before she married him. I think she was like 18. And so this child of hers is like 14, 15, 16 around this time. And she has chosen not to be part of their YouTube. She's never shown her.
Okay.
So she's getting attacked for that. Like people are saying, oh, you don't like your first daughter. Well, like it's just weird, the shit that they're saying. So, and both of them have, like everyone, a fucking history. They've both been divorced. Like all this stuff started coming forward. So there's another channel called the Unplanned Podcast. Again, I'll link it in the description afterwards. It's a really good channel. And it's just like a chill. They go to their house, they sit on the couch, and they interview people.
Okay.
So K and Tay had went on their channel. And I don't know how this was a year ago. So I'm going to show a couple clips, and then all of us, like you guys don't need to know these people to react to what you're going to listen to. I think it's going to correlate and hit home with a lot of us.
Hey, Roddy. We've missed you too, Mama.
Hey, Roddy.
Good to see you.
I hope you're well. All right.
Oh, Abby and Matt. They get a lot of criticism too, right? Abby and Matt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had a feeling some people in here would know some of the people that we're talking about.
Oh my God, that couple, I love them. The one with the blonde hair, I watch all her shorts, her pregnancy journey and all of that.
Yep. Yep. I think I started following them like a year before she even found out she was pregnant. So I've been following her for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're going to listen to this. I think it's like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, and then we'll react.
Okay.
Like no matter what you do, people will find a flaw in it. So I think as a parent, you just have to make the right decision, the best decision for your child. And like 100%. That's super cool that you guys have found that for both of your children. I like so respect that. And
come on, StreamYard.
Just getting to know you, even just with the past.
Hold on, guys. I'm trying to lower the quality. That way it stops doing that.
Okay.
No, it is.
Just me.
Why?
Okay.
Oh, there's the quality. The quality wasn't popping up. No, let me lower it. I had it on auto.
Oh, really? The Duggar kids have been on their podcast? Wow.
Hey, yeah, they've interviewed a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot
I think
of people.
I'm subscribed to both their channels too. I like.
They're good channels.
I like K and Tay. Yeah, a lot.
All right, here we go.
Last couple of hours that we've talked, it's just like I know that you guys are making like really good choices for your children. And it's just really, I really respect all of that. And I'm sorry that when you stay silent on something online and you do something out of protection for your child, people will find some way to misconstrue it. And that's really
they fill in the story for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's not their place, they have no idea what's going on in reality. And I think
and people will read those comments, and instead of like hearing it from us, they'll just believe what they're hearing. Like he got a DM the other day, and it was like on his personal Instagram. So these people had to like go and find him, because we don't like put his personal Instagram out there really.
Yeah.
But they DM'd him, and they were like, you should have thought about the fact that Kay has a daughter before you married her. If you didn't want her in your life, if you didn't want to post her, maybe you should have thought about that before you got married to her mom.
I thought I was the one that didn't want.
He's not the reason that she's not in the content. I think you're thinking of her bio dad, because like he is totally for her being in the content if she wants to be.
So someone got so frustrated that they went all the way to found my.
They really wanted to tell him how it was, you know, like I'm gonna let him know that is not mature, that is not a responsible thing to do, to marry somebody with a child and not want them in your content. And I'm just like, that's obvious. That is the biggest misconception, is that we don't care about her.
Yeah.
And she knows that's not true. And
that's all that matters.
That's at the end of the day, that's what matters. Yep. She laughs at the hate comments as well.
Yeah.
So
is that hard sometimes when you see a false narrative online and you know that it's just completely made up? You know that your family knows you and knows your heart, and your friends know you and know your heart, yet there might be something that someone says that's just completely out of left field that doesn't fit at all.
That's the hardest thing, I think, for me, is like I want to be like a keyboard warrior. I want to like tell them everything. I just want to like let it out, like, no, you're wrong, because actually, but I can't do that 500 times a day. Like it's I
couldn't do it. Even if it was your full-time job, you couldn't do it.
Those comments enough to like make that go away. Like everybody, there's even other creators that have made videos of us not wanting to post our daughter because for some reason we don't care about her, and people saying, well, I liked them until I realized they had another daughter and they don't post her. And so at a point you just kind of have to block all of that out, because I mean it really starts to mess with us mentally, even though we know the kind of parents we are. We know why we're doing it. But yeah, that is 100% like the hardest part, is keeping my mouth closed and not wanting to just say everything and explain like, no, you're wrong because of this.
Yeah. That's so interesting too, because we just had some other friends of ours, Brooklyn and Bailey.
All right. Hits home, right, Sen?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about that.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote a couple things down with the timestamp and how people believe these false comments and narratives, and how they then use the lies to fill in the story.
It truly is a game of telephone. It truly is. And somebody keeps repeating the lie so much that people watching, even if they don't realize it, they then regurgitate that lie somewhere else, and it becomes fact and it becomes truth. And I know it's not always a possibility to go to the source and ask, but I am an open book. If people DM me respectfully and ask me any questions, I'm more than willing to be honest and open about anything. You know, it's all in the way you come up to me as well. You know, if you're coming in, if you're coming in as if you're going to interrogate me and demand something, I'm less likely to acquiesce. But if you come in like, hey, you know, I heard this, and I always respond in DMs. Honestly, I do. And I was watching this short, and it's so funny, yesterday, where this kid was telling his dad, oh, I heard this online about this said person. And he said, did you hear it from the person themselves? No, this other creator was saying it. And he said, you know that you just spread that rumor to me. You know, do you know it's true? No, but this creator has a lot of followers and he said it. So the father said, let me show you how this can start. So he put a piece of paper on his son's back and had his son with a piece of paper. And he said, draw everything that I draw on your back. And the father drew a stick figure and with a a word bubble that said lies, and the son's picture was totally different from what the father was drawing on his back. And he said, this is exactly what happens. And I thought it was such a great analogy of how things can be misconstrued or, repeated and not be what was originally said, or the statement, the true statement. And that holds true on social
Mm-hmm.
media so much. And again, I don't have an expectation that everybody has to come to someone. And I used myself because I can only use myself as an example, but you can't always go to the person in their DMs and ask them, especially bigger creators, hey, I heard this about you. Is that true? There's no way realistically to do that. But I think if more people did more research and looked into things themselves, somebody says something in a live or a video, take a few minutes, go see if that video is available and hear it for yourself. Don't allow someone else to tell you how to interpret something that they heard, or even if it's true or
Exactly.
not.
I'm so glad you said that, because that's going to come up later too. And what's funny, like a couple weeks ago, I offered on my community tab, like underneath a post in the comments, that anyone can come to me privately, because honestly though, like they're not even privy to that. So for me to offer that, I thought was generous, because there's some
Yes.
people that I would offer that to, but no one's privy to that being public. I don't need, because I got shitted on for that. Oh, she wants to do it behind the scenes. What's she hiding? Blah, blah. No, it's just that it's none of your fucking business.
Right. And there was reasons why you were keeping it from being public. And again, we are not naive or gullible. We know how things work, and things that we say privately, we don't have an expectation of it being kept secret. We understand that anybody we DM with, especially if they're not people that we speak to every day, anything we say to them is up to be put out there. So it isn't about concealing anything. It's about not speaking on it publicly for a specific reason. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not about trying to conceal anything, because we, again, know how the internet works. And you have to stand on anything you say privately, because it can always come to the light. If you stand on anything you say privately, you will never have any problems, in my opinion.
I agree. And yeah, I think I've been a pretty good example of an open book. I don't try to hide shit, but then again, like, I'm 38 years old. Like, I've had a life, and I don't think I have to come on. I think I'm still expected some sort of privacy.
Yeah,
like the violation of privacy with people is what gets me. Like, some things shouldn't be spoken on, and then to come in and think that you're entitled to ask questions about it. Like, so for me to offer to speak to anyone in DM, I thought was generous.
Yeah. And I think that that's an important point too, because we maybe, like for me and you, we have a YouTube channel and we share aspects of our lives on YouTube, does not mean that every part of our lives and everyone in our lives, we have to tell everything about them. We still have an expectation of privacy. And I think with K and Tay, the difference is, right? Though, okay, so she had a daughter previously. There's also that biological father's input to take into account, right? Her and her husband can't make decisions solely because that's not their child together. So the new baby they had, that is their child together, they can make decisions together about that child, whether they want to have that child on social media or not. And there's a lot of debate on, these family channels, exposing their children, every part of their lives to the internet. That's a debate for a different day. But the other daughter is old enough to know, right, whether she wants to be online or not. And we know the pros and the cons of having your child online. People do like to see these family channels or whatever. And some people don't. Some people feel like it's exploitation. So they're making the best decision for their family and not showing that older child. People are putting their perceptions, or they're internalizing someone else's family according to how they feel. Oh, well, if they don't show her, it's because they're probably embarrassed of her or neglectful of her. And it may just be the latter, that they're just respecting her privacy, that she's old enough to not want that imprint online. She's old enough maybe not to want to be involved in that content. There's so many things that we're unaware of, and we speculate and fill in the blanks for ourselves, and it's unfair to people. You know,
It's the
if they choose not to,
assumptions.
right, if they choose not to speak about that, that is their right. And you can't trample on their boundaries, because you have to know every part of their lives, because they're content creators, that every part of their lives is up to be recorded and posted
Scrutinized
online.
and
Yeah.
commented on, you know?
If we put ourselves in the shoes of other people, I think that a lot more empathy would be had online.
Well, that's the problem, though. Like, some people are able to do that, but some people let their hate, like, they hate K and Tay for some reason. Like, some people are just always looking for the negative in every situation. And in this specific situation with K and Tay, they should be applauded. They're respecting their daughter's wishes. They're not one of those
Sometimes,
parents shoving the camera in front of their fucking
exactly.
kid. Like, it should be applauded. And for people to do the assumptions game, like you said, they're internalizing it. And then that feeds into the telephone game.
It
And it's
does. And in
never
some
ending.
cases, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter what you do, it's never going to be good enough. Whether you come and like they also said, there's not enough time in the day to address
No.
everything. And once you start doing that, it becomes a slippery slope, and you feel
Yep.
like you have to continue to answer things. And that's why I've said on my channel, I'm not addressing anything. And I'm not. I'm just not. And that's where I am. I'm protecting my peace at all costs. I still should be able to have a platform on this channel. I mean, on YouTube. I haven't done anything that I feel meets the burden of being banned from YouTube. So I'm going to protect my peace, and I'm going to do and discuss things that are important to me, that keep me away from all the personal, messy stuff. Personal interactions with people becomes messy. So I'm talking about people on TikTok that I've never had a personal interaction with. And that's the direction I'm going in my channel, with my
It's
channel.
smart.
And no one's going to browbeat me into continuing to fight with people online. I can only control myself.
Well,
I'm
and
not
I
doing it
really
anymore.
relate to Kay when she said, I want to be this keyboard warrior and go back with people.
Yes.
Because I'm sure she's done that early in their YouTube startup, whatever. And it's when you have that, like, and especially as a mother too, and like a wife, like you want to defend your people. And it's really hard for someone like me not to react, reply, whatever. But just like you said, and this is going to keep coming up throughout this live, you get to a point where you have to prioritize. And me doing that with people I don't respect their opinion, I don't give a fuck about, because they're just so relentless and badgering. Like, if, like you said, it's about the approach. It could have went differently, but I'm to the point now, like, there's no point. And I'm going to protect my peace, and I'm not going to respond always. It just gets old. Like, I'm done.
It does. And I think we've all been there. You know, when I started my channel, I was at a place where I prided myself on not being reactionary. And then I started consuming a lot of the negativity or even criticism about myself, because I don't think that everything that has ever been stated about me is just hate. I can absorb criticism, you know. And when I started consuming it, I became very reactionary. And especially blatant lies, I wanted to address it. I wanted to clear my name, so much so that I went on Twitter, you know, X, formerly known as Twitter, and put up toxicologies. You know what I mean? And so I guess it comes with learning. You know, there's a learning curve to social media, and I'm not as naive as I once was. And I'm resigned. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not, for my own peace. I should be afforded a space that I enjoy without having to deal with bullcrap every day. I've turned off my tags, my notifications, and it's so freeing. And I can
It
still come on
is.
and speak about things that are important to me without engaging in the BS,
I mean, that this weekend, I think this was the first time I ever turned off YouTube notifications, and it was glorious. It was fucking glorious. That's when you know. That's when you know you got to take a step back and reevaluate. So this is the second live from the Unplanned Podcast. And okay. I want to say, so they did the other live like a year or so ago, and then they did this one because 7 to 8 months ago, more people started making assumptions and allegations and spreading rumors. So they're coming back onto the Unplanned Podcast to address it. And I have a couple clips.
Before you play that, can I just, sorry to interrupt you. Before you play that, can I just answer Jen and Barrett? She said, Selfie, did you find it difficult to make the change, choosing not to react? And Jen and Barrett, yes. But I've always been a person that doesn't enjoy fighting with people.
I was going to say, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I feel like you probably handle that a lot better than I do. That's something I'm still working on, Jen and Barrett.
Yeah.
But I'm learning.
It wasn't difficult in the way that I wanted to come back. It was difficult in the way that, again, you can have criticism of me, but you don't have to lie on me. And I always try to ask myself why. And it became easier when I understood there is no why sometimes, right? The truth is not what everyone is seeking. So trying to understand why they lie or why they embellish is never going to, I'm never going to get that answer. And once I figured that out, and I say this mantra all the time, it's not what people call me that matters, it's what I answer to. So, so it became easier because I've always been that person that didn't have to respond to anything. And I really believe if you stop consuming it, it becomes easier. If you're watching it, it's going to affect you. So I don't consume any of it. And it's so much easier. It's, ignorance is bliss, right? Like, I don't know about it. It's good. I'm cool. So just wanted to answer that.
It's still a hard concept for me, but I do generally agree.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Yes, I do, Roddy. I have this SQC.
I just dropped your link.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Really appreciate that, Jen and Barrett. Again, I'm a very reactionary person. So it's just been a hard lesson. And I was forced to do it these past few months. Like, I didn't have a choice. So. All right.
Yeah,
so this second live, he had a mugshot leaked. And it was an awful situation. Keep in mind, this happened 5.5 years ago. So a hater from Kay's real life leaked his mugshot. And that's what enabled all the rest of the internet trolls to dig and find out what happened. But they never really found out what happened. They made more assumptions about what happened. So basically, K and Tay it was her birthday. They just wanted to have a nice night at home. They had a bottle of wine together and went to bed. She woke up like 3 hours later and something was wrong. Like, she was having a medical emergency and she was not in her right mind. What she found out later, what they didn't know then, she was taking a medication called Cymbalta. And that is a medicine that I have taken before. And I had to stop it after 2 weeks because I felt like a literal fucking zombie. Okay. So Kay has an autoimmune disorder. And that is like a medication that they tried. Well, she was young. I think she was like 21, I don't know, 21, 22. And she didn't think, oh, should I be drinking a couple glasses of wine with this medicine?
Right.
It put her into straight hallucinations. So she wanted to leave. It's like 4 a.m. She wakes up like, why didn't we celebrate my birthday? Let's go celebrate. She's grabbing her keys. And Tay is like, no, like trying to sit her back on the bed. Keep in mind, he just woke up too. So I can't imagine. Yeah. He said it was a very short 10-minute thing. And finally, Kay was like, well, I'm going to call the cops because you won't let me leave. And he was like, great, call the cops. Like, yes, we need some help here. Well, the cops didn't get medical help. And you got to remember, the cops aren't trained on mental or interactions. Like, I wish there could have been an ambulance that came for her, but that's not what happened. And in their state, since it was technically a domestic dispute, they had to separate them for the night. So they first of all, Tay volunteered. And so they took Tay to the station and Kay stayed home. The next day, she bailed him out and everything was completely dismissed. Like the courts, the judge even said, like, I'm so sorry this happened to you. It was an awful situation. So that's the backstory for what I'm about to play.
Okay.
Way everyone knows. But yeah, could you imagine that? And then people bring it up to fodder, internet fodder. Gross.
Yeah, as a gotcha moment. Yeah. Sad.
But it's not like they're wrong. Again, the assumptions is what gets you. Hold on, let me turn down the quality.
But sometimes it's about people wanting you to further explain stuff. So they'll say, these crazy outlandish lies to get you to divulge a situation that you never wanted to bring to the internet. You know what I mean? And so people are calculated with that too. They'll say something really crazy so that you'll come and explain the situation, and it's intrusive. And no, F that. Think what you want. Think what you want about me. That's why I did a short video about what Villain said yesterday, because it's so true. I know who I am. People in my life know who I am. People on the internet are not going to tell me about myself or my character. The people that know me in my personal life, they know who I am. And that's
they're all that matter.
Yes,
these
they're
people
all that matter.
Online don't matter. I mean, they should be happy I gave them what I gave them at all. Sorry.
Exactly.
I'm done. All right. So this is like a 2-minute clip.
So it's like, how does this mugshot surface 5.5 years later? Like, why now? Why randomly? Like, you guys have been doing social media, 2 or 3 years? Like, why randomly now in 2024, 5.5 years later, are people seeing this mugshot of you?
We can't really go into the details. Like, we know
legal reasons.
Someone in her life leaked it, and we know, and like without a doubt, know.
We have proof.
But yeah, we can't go into it. But it was just to make Kay hurt.
Just
essentially
to hurt me. I mean, it's been that way for a long time.
How does that affect your mental health?
It sucks.
It hurts a lot to know that this individual hates me so much that even knowing the situation and knowing what happened that night, they leak stuff like this just to see people do what they're doing right now. And that's exactly what this person wanted. And it's nauseating because I feel like bullies, mean people, they almost always just get away with doing this stuff. And then
hallelujah.
We that's why we're telling our story. That's why we're telling the truth.
Amen.
Because it's not right. We could have stayed silent, but then nobody would know that that's not even what happened. And Taylor's a great person. It sucks. It hurts a lot because it's not just affecting me, even though that's what they want. They want to hurt me. It's affecting our whole family. I mean, our whole family. There's children involved.
Mm-hmm.
Like this has been a hard week for us.
And it's not like some spicy news like, oh, this just in. And like, this is a 5-year-old dismissed case that I was found innocent and like apologized to for even going to jail. And it's like,
and here's the
why
thing.
are you bringing up 5-year-old drama?
What is the story on the internet right now? Like, what are people saying?
That I'm horrible and that I'm in jail. And I think we're divorced right now. Maybe
apparently we're getting divorced.
Who's getting the house? We got a new house coming up. So who's going to get it?
There's been not only this story, but I feel like there's other stories spinning off of it. And I truly don't know where these people are coming up with some of this information. In my opinion, these people don't care if they hurt other people. They want the views. They want
to have this hot info, and they're going to put it out there whether it's true or not, and they don't care. You know, nobody came to us before making videos and say, let me get your side of the story. Nobody asked us. They just made these thinking they knew for certain that this is what happened, and they spun a story. And it's so unfortunate.
I think it's boring to.
Sound familiar?
Yep. All too familiar.
It like I'm telling you,
think
each of these clips is going to hit home for a lot of people.
Yeah, because I may be the face of my channel, but certain things that are said affect how I feel, especially talk about me. You know, when you talk about my family and stuff, it's wrong. You know, you're lying about situations, and it's funny. Just really quickly, I spoke to my ex-husband the other day, and I told him, do you know that you kicked me out? And he started laughing. He said, huh? I said, yeah. Did you know that you kicked me out because I cheated on you, and you kicked me out? And he said, well, somebody needs to tell me that, because you could come home right now. You know what I mean? And it's just like people, and so I understand what they're saying. People think that they know more about their situation than they do, you know. And me and my husband, we loved each other. We loved each other dearly, but it became toxic, you know. And we're at a good place right now, you know. We care about each other. He finally, you know, got a phone, and he's not gonna come on the internet and drag me. That's just not what we do. You know what I mean? And
it's not what anyone should do to
right, and I
someone
can
they
hear
said that they loved or cared about ever.
right. And I don't understand, like, that would be like people trying to reach out to my husband, and then knowing how messed up that is, and then in the same breath me reaching out to someone else's family and wanting to interview them. You know what I mean? How could you know what it's like and be
Yep.
outraged that you had family contacted, yet you're actively trying to reach out to people's family? And again, these are things we don't even have to say, because people that are not consumed with utter hate see it. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where
Well,
I'm
that's
at
what I was
too.
about to say. Like, people know that this shit is wrong, but they're letting their
Yeah.
hate of people, they're excusing it and riling it up. And that's
Yeah,
exactly
I
what
agree.
those people want. And you're giving it to them wholeheartedly with
Yeah.
full conviction.
Yep.
And it's sad. You can't just say something's wrong. Like, when something's wrong, that's something I've always prided myself on. And I'm not fucking perfect. Like, I've really tried to work on myself these past couple months. But I've always called out foul shit, no matter who the person was.
Me
So
too.
they can't say the same.
No, even people that I disliked, you know, my hard boundaries, I was like, no, that's not a thing. You know what I mean? And I'm far from perfect too. I say almost all the time, yes, I'm sorry. I will have to make forever amends on the internet for having supported the worst of the worst people. But at least we can admit that and have apologized and are
Well,
not
not just admit it
still doing
publicly
it.
and apologize publicly. It's something that doesn't sit well with a lot of us, and we speak about it privately. And I don't know that that's something
Exactly.
that I'll ever be able to be like, you know, I fucked up and I'm doing better. Like, it's always not going to sit well with me. And if people don't want to believe that, that's on you. But I know my person.
Me and you were just talking about that this morning, how it's hard for us to forgive ourselves for that. You know, so nobody can beat me down more than I beat myself up.
Yep.
Forever having done that, forever having been so consumed with a dislike for somebody that I allowed things that I knew were inherently wrong. You know what I mean? And so that's something that I have to learn to live with myself. And again, I will be making amends forever on the internet for that. So people can't hold me to that forever. I'm holding myself accountable for that, you know?
It's always the fallback. You know,
Yeah.
there's a couple other
Yeah.
fallbacks they've been using recently as well. But yeah, if it comes up, it comes up. So we're going to move on. This is
Okay.
another clip, and it's talking about like pure hate for views, basically.
19, it really wouldn't
wouldn't
have
matter.
That one would have got out. no
That
matter what.
part would have gotten out no matter what. So it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered.
It wouldn't have mattered. They would have just had the mugshot with no story. Well, they still don't really have a story, but they would have had literally just a mugshot. And I mean, there's no telling what they would have said.
They would have made their own stories.
Well, they are making their own stories.
Like, obviously we've been past this for like 5 years, and this is like in our past. And like we have this like buying our first home journey that we're doing right now. And like that should be super exciting. You only get to buy your first home once, right? And so we're like right at the peak of like that excitement, but we don't even get to be excited because we're having to clear up rumors online. And that sucks. Especially like, it'd be one thing if this happened 3 days ago, but the fact that this has been done and like cleaned up and like just a little bow in the corner from 5 years ago, it just sucks. Like,
And I think also, I just thought of this because I feel like people have been wanting us to address this. Why are they living this lie? Why didn't they tell us this information? Can you honestly, like, there's 30 years of my life before TikTok. Do you want to know every single thing in my life that happened? This wasn't a relevant situation anymore in our lives. He's not hurting me. So why would this one situation have anything to do with our current like lifestyle? It has nothing to do with the content we post online. It has nothing to do with our lives now anymore. There's just no reason to be like, hey guys, we're making content and I see we have some followers. So let me just let you guys know about this situation that happened in 2019.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Nobody does that. Nobody would do that. So are we lying to people because we didn't tell them? No, there was no reason to tell anybody that because it was a medical situation that quite frankly wasn't really anyone's business.
Yeah.
But I mean, we don't mind telling the truth, and we want the people that have supported us to know, like, we're not these bad people that people are trying to say, and we love each other very much.
I'm going to just want to make sure I'm not, going to get striked.
And I agree. You know, they deserve privacy. They deserve privacy. And again, because they're public figures doesn't mean that they have to talk about every part of their lives. And it doesn't mean that they're being dishonest or any of that. I had another thought, but I lost it.
You know what's funny? Like, and it's something I've just discovered in like the past month and a half, that just because certain things are public does not mean you can go online and talk like there is a right to privacy, and people are violating people's right to privacy, and it can have consequences. Yeah. So just keep that in mind.
Exactly.
Very much. We are very much still in love and happy, and we're going to continue promoting healthy relationships, and we're going to continue showing our love story online because that's the truth.
Why do you think some of your followers believe that they deserve to know all this background information about your past?
I think in some way they deserve to at least know the truth. Like, it's one thing to be mad for us not saying it in the first place. Like, that would be very unnatural. But once it's all out,
I can understand them wanting to know the truth then. It's the people that are saying, well, you should have told us this. Like, no.
Why not clear it up for them immediately as soon as you start seeing this information online?
Well, for me,
it's like a mental health thing.
I've been struggling with postpartum depression. I've been very open about that and anxiety since having Ellie. And even though he wanted to come out and immediately tell the story, I don't think I was prepared mentally. I don't even know that I am now, but I felt so scared of the hate that would come and people twisting words, and it's scary. And it will happen. And that's why I say, like, I don't even know if I'm mentally ready now, but I have to do it for Taylor. He doesn't deserve the hate that he's getting online when that's not who he is. Even if people are going to tear me down, like, I have to do that for him. And so that's why I'm doing it now. But I think in the beginning I was just scared to, like, be very vulnerable and open up about something that
Liz,
was,
could you pause it for 1 second?
Really embarrassing about our life.
I feel so bad for her, but I wanted to say also an important part is, like, let's say, okay, so he had a mug shot and got arrested 5 years ago, right? I think it's very different if you're exhibiting the same behaviors, right? If, like, let's
Yes.
say I made a mistake in the past, but I'm still making those same mistakes now, and someone brings it up to show that nothing's changed. I think that that's very different than you trying to have a gotcha moment on me for something, a mistake that I've made in the past, like me being in jail 23 years ago, for being an addict and committing crimes. And I haven't been in trouble for 23 years. So somebody's still saying that I'm a felon, as a gotcha moment. I know that. I'm very aware that I'm a felon. Um, I'm not proud of it. I don't glorify it, but it is a fact, right? And it would hit differently if I were still committing crimes, if I were still showing those same behaviors. That's the difference, in my opinion. So them having gone through this medical emergency and him being wrongfully arrested 5 years ago is not the gotcha moment people think it is. It was just to embarrass them. It was just to shame them. It wasn't to say, hey, you need to take accountability for this because you're still participating in these behaviors that led you to get arrested before. You understand? So I think that
Yep.
that's a big difference, and that's an important point as well.
I
If
agree.
you want to hold me accountable for something, mistakes that I've made in the past, yes, like supporting horrible people. Okay. If I'm still supporting said person, then bringing it up every day is valid. But having acknowledged it, having apologized profusely and genuinely and sincerely, and not doing it anymore, you're not going to hold me down with that. You're not. Sorry.
I
We love you
agree.
too, JJ.
Yep.
So I wanted to make that point because I was thinking about it earlier and I just needed to get it out before I forgot. So sorry, Bliss.
Okay, this clip's almost over, but you're right. Like, and you can tell, like, she's much more sensitive than I think either of us, actually. And I can feel
Yeah.
it. It's genuine.
Yes.
This really
Yes.
doesn't sit well with her.
And
And
it
like,
hurts her.
I don't know that I've ever truly experienced that until the last couple months, if I'm being honest. And, we talked about boundaries earlier and hard lines. And even before anything was said or done, I have always said that my hard line is going into my real life or my family.
Yeah.
And once that happened, I had to change things for my own reasons. And if people
Yes.
can't respect that, then you don't want what's best for me, and I don't need your opinion.
Exactly. If you
So,
can understand that if they can understand that protecting your family and your children is your hard line and it goes way beyond YouTube, and they still expect you to come online and divulge everything at the expense of your children, you owe them nothing because they
nope.
can't even get out of their own way to understand that there are children involved. Forget me, your hatred for me, my
Yep.
kids are grown, but your children are very young. If
And
you
I'm
can't
telling,
even
it's not just a
understand
hard
that,
line. It's not just a
jeez,
hard
man.
line. There,
Hmm.
once that's done and that line's crossed, there is nothing that I won't do.
That's how it should be.
Just saying, like, I am a dog with a fucking bone. You've awoken like Mama Bear, and I was
Yes.
doxxed, spelled out doxxed, and I really
Yes.
that had happened before something else happened. I wouldn't have done anything to that. Do I
Right.
think it's right? Absolutely not. And obviously, no one else likes being doxxed, but since it was
No.
me, whatever. But
Hmm.
it was what was said about my kid.
Exactly.
And yeah, nothing will stop me. All right, this one's almost over. Just like a minute left.
Okay.
And why here on this medium, this platform?
Very few people relate to the idea of being alone while having, so many people that follow you, but you really do feel alone,
It's like being bullied in high school, but like the world is the high school. Like everybody's against you and everybody's coming at you from every angle saying that your husband is bad and asking if I'm safe, asking if I'm okay. And it's okay if I'm not. Like, this is a safe space. Like, these people that are saying that, they don't care about my safety. They don't care about my mental health. They're doing it for views. And so it's so irritating to me that these people claim they're doing it because they care about me. You're hurting my family.
Amen.
By saying this stuff. You're not helping me at all. You're bringing up 5.5-year-old stuff. It's not like it happened yesterday. You know, it's so irritating to me.
What has it?
It's fake morality, right? They hide behind being moral when it's the opposite. They could care less. Like, oh, we're just so empathetic. We want to make sure you're safe. No, you want a tagline. That's what you want. You want to make content out of my personal life.
They're weaponizing other people's situations too to do it, not realizing that them just bringing that up is hurtful to the person who has asked for it to stop being done. It's like a re-victimization, and it's even worse because these people claim to be friendly with said person, but they still keep doing it over and over, and it was even admitted, just for a slap in the face to me. And because it's not something that I done, it's because they hate someone who I'm friendly with.
Yeah.
It's gross.
It is gross. It is gross.
All right. Now he's going to put something into words here, Tay, that I've tried to not that I've ever tried to put it into words. I tried to explain it to myself in my own head, if that makes sense. And he's about to make a lot of sense here. So, I got it right on the timestamp. Look at me go.
So I was able to get that rescheduled. I'm excited to hopefully get a diagnosis that day, but we'll see.
Tay, Kay was talking a lot about how these comments and the Reddit threads and everything felt like a big high school bully, but multiplied times 1,000. Is that how it's been affecting you as well?
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think humans I don't think it's natural to have the opinion of 10,000 people, good or bad. I don't think that's natural. I think that's really unnatural. And the high school bully thing, in high school, the gossip starts and it's a lie. And then everyone in high school is talking about it. Imagine that just times 1,000, tens of thousands of people spitting a lie out.
And
that
running
sucks.
with it.
And there's nothing you can do. I can't go to every comment and say, no, this is a lie. Because what are they going to say? No, it isn't.
I saw it on this video.
Yeah. And so it's I can't even say, hey, you guys are spitting lies, because they're just going to say, no, you're wrong. No, you know? And so it sucks. It really does. It's just so unnatural.
I think you've been trying to remain strong though. He's definitely tried to make himself seem like it's not bothering him, but I know it is bothering him because I know him.
Gotta be the rock.
He's always trying to be tough, but
no, it sucks. It really does. Mental health is just, it's so hard when people make up stuff about you.
Do you have any friends or?
And he's so right. It's so unnatural. The internet has really fostered this fucking reality. It's hard when you have this person doing this, and then this person is feeding off the lies, and then they're coming at you this way, and then that person is friends with that person, and they're coming at you this way, and it's super unnatural. It was one thing, if you were bullied in high school, couple people, to have so many people, it's really unnatural, and I'm super happy that he addressed that. I wish he would have went a little deeper with it, if I'm being honest, but I'm glad he said it.
And hi, Code, love you too. But I agree, and that's what I was saying earlier about these rumors. They're repeated enough that it becomes truth. And how can you prove a negative, right? How can you prove? You can't. And if you
it doesn't matter.
Comment sections, it doesn't matter because the truth is not what they're seeking.
Look what happened. The damage is
done already, right?
I've proven quite a few lies the last few months, and every time the goalpost was moved afterwards.
Yes.
And now I'm a horrible person because someone said, show me the proof, and I show you the proof, and then everyone thinks I'm a horrible person for doing it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And not only someone said, they demanded, called us liars, and demanded that we show the proof, and then when we show it, we're horrible, we're releasing private stuff, we're weaponizing mental health, and they forget the catalyst was someone demanding and saying we're liars. That never happened, not
Well,
one
no, it
time.
went further than that, because JJ was accused, saying that
yes,
this
yes.
person said that JJ wants her to unalive herself.
Told her
That's
to unalive
that's
herself.
what
Yes,
pushed me over the edge, coupled
yes,
with the whole like exaggerated, show me the proof. I want to see the proof.
yeah.
Between
You
that and
lying
that, I was like,
bitches.
got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then so when we acquiesce, oh, Macaulay Culkin, how
Mhm.
dare you guys? And people that were coming to me, I'm like, are you serious? Had someone done this to you, you would have went way further than this. But we're not supposed to prove that we're not liars when we got fed up with it. No, I'm sorry, but no, you can miss me with that. And that's the thing. I don't care. And that's what I'm saying. Like, no one has anything over my head. Anything I said in private, I stand on publicly. And there's nothing of me talking crap about my friends and people that I may have had opinions about when I didn't like them. Just keep in mind the dates, guys. Dates are important. You understand? If I was talking crap yesterday about somebody that I made amends with, then I'm a fraud. But years ago, when I was fighting with them and didn't like them, I had some choice words about them. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to make fetch happen, and it's not going to happen. So I'm not worried about it.
Same girl. All right, this next clip, they're kind of talking about like supporters believing lies, but they also
Lies. Yeah.
are trying to make a distinction between like how it's different when people who already kind of criticized and disliked you believe the lies versus people who have supported you for a long time all of a sudden believing the lies. And I thought this would hit home with you, especially, Cindy.
There is an important distinction between people that supported you and enjoy you and genuinely hear this and are like, oh my God, is this real? And asking valid questions, as opposed to people that hate you from the door and are salivating over this. There's a great distinction, in my opinion. But go ahead, play it.
Got it.
And so I don't know. I want to show that, and I want to hopefully continue to post that and just.
I think
be
what's hurt me a lot in all of this is that I know you do less of it than I do, but I really do try to go through our DMs and talk to people. And there's some people that I've communicated with back and forth multiple times. Like, I recognize their profile picture and their name when they comment and DM. Like, I feel like we've grown like these friendships with some of these people, and I love all of our followers. I love everybody. I love the support that they have given us through all of this. And so what hurts the most is seeing some of those people turned, sending DMs saying like, well, I used to like you guys, but now I don't. And like, that's heartbreaking, because you want so badly to just tell them like, please, like, wait, like, you don't understand. Like, that's not what happened. But you can only say that so many times. And then immediately the person say, you're lying. I don't care. Like, that's been hard, because it's one thing for people who already didn't like us to not like us. It's another thing when you have all these other people that did like you and looked up to you thinking you're a bad person, like you've let them down. And that's why I want to go on the record and say we aren't perfect. We've never said we were perfect, and we never will be, but we love each other so much more than anyone. I mean, he's my best friend, and we got through this together then, and we're going to get through it together now.
Double whammy.
Double whammy.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she's right, because I felt that as well. And I know over the years, you've had people, just you've been not even more than just friendly with, like actual kind, like people who supported you, like even, And I know that another person's opinion made them turn, and that's sad.
And not even another person's assumptions, another person not liking me anymore. A tide just turned immediately. And that's something that has been hard for me to reconcile in my brain. But I've been guilty of it, specifically with Sophie. I allowed other people's opinions of her to influence my opinions, and I didn't take the time to go and watch Sophie for myself and
I think
get
we've
to know her.
all done that at one
Yeah,
point and another.
yeah,
We've all
and
done
that's
that.
something.
That's a
And that's
part of the
something.
learning curve to YouTube.
Yeah, and that's something that I'll forever regret and apologize for, and also with Siwa. I know that people
Yes.
aren't perfect. I'm a prime example of that, not being perfect. And for me, if the good outweighs the bad, I'm able to accept things, especially when people are able to accept responsibility, apologize, and show different behavior, because I'm, again, a prime example of that. I made many mistakes. I was able to learn from it and do better. And I will never say perfection is a facade. You know what I mean? No one's perfect, and people that pretend to be perfect, that's a hard facade to keep up, and it eventually, the mask slips for everyone. So I prefer to
Yeah.
just be
No one's
me, show
perfect.
people who I am, flaws and all. And it
Mhm.
was hard to realize that. So I have like this invisible boundary up now where I don't have any expectations for anyone online. Not even my closest friends, you guys that are my best friends. I don't even have those expectations anymore, because I understand that things can happen and people can change their minds about me. And if you once supported me or even were a friend of mine, you owe me nothing. If I ever do something that crosses a personal boundary with you, you have the right to pull away from me. So that's something, once I accepted that, it became easier for me to understand it and just make peace with it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a hard one. I mean, some of these people, though, I've really seen them the past few months, and there's just some people I just don't want anything to do with anymore because of it. Like,
No. Yeah.
sometimes I can, and that's why I understand why people have such a disdain and dislike for me, because sometimes once you see someone, you can't unsee, but you also don't even afford them the chance to,
To show
change.
difference, right? Yeah. It's like instantaneous, like that's it. They're
Yeah, and
unredeemable.
I
And
try not to do that. I really do. Now,
no,
sometimes it's bitten me in the ass, though. I ain't gonna lie.
me too. Oh, me too. But if I believed that people were unredeemable, I would have to throw myself in that basket as well. And I'm so grateful that people in my life didn't think that I was unredeemable, because there was a moment in time where I was the kind of person that was a horrible, horrible person in my addiction and before my addiction. And I'm so grateful to the people in my life that allowed me and afforded me a chance to show changed behavior. And I think everyone deserves that opportunity, whether you do it from afar and you watch and you see if they are truly sorry and truly changed. And then that's a personal decision, and I've had that. People have pulled away from me and then returned, and I'm so grateful for that. And I understand. I always say people on YouTube are like the undecided voters, and they have the right to do that. If something I say is offensive and crosses your boundary, and you're like, I need to get away from Selfie right now, and then you start watching and you again are like, okay, I think that she's better. That's to people's discretion. You know what I mean?
And
So
that doesn't mean that they have to like you, but they don't have to
no,
constantly attack you,
exactly. They don't
berate
have to
you.
seek out to destroy me and,
Yeah.
remind people of mistakes that I've made, that I've owned. I can understand if I've never been accountable for my mistakes, then refresh my memory. Yes. But if I've owned it and acknowledged it, you continuing to bring it up, what's the point of that? I don't get that either.
To just further the hate, and
Of
people
course.
feed right into it.
Yep.
That's all it
I
is.
agree.
All right, now
I agree.
this one, we're going to have to pause a few times. Okay, so this is Life After a Cult.
Okay.
She is kind of a part of the anti-science. Oh, I don't want to say that word. We're going to call it Scientai. Is that okay?
Yes.
I'm scared to say that name. Does it say it on the screen? It does not. Okay. Yeah, that I don't want that heat Okay, I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
no, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Nope, I'm good. I'm just sharing from a
Yeah,
channel.
they're
who
scary. They're
happens
scary.
I will say this. She is an ex-Scientologist. I will say that just so people are aware. I want to say she came on YouTube in December and kind of folded into that anti-Scienti community. And this is a much bigger community than what people refer to talking about our community. Like, and she's going to even say here, like, they are a blip, a drop in the ocean as far as like YouTube communities. So if we are that, or if they're that, we are like not a fart in the wind. Okay.
Yeah, no, we're not, we're a microorganism then.
Yeah, like we're
Right.
We're the bacteria on the microorganism, basically.
Exactly. We're one cell amoebas. Exactly.
So basically, she exposes cults and high control groups. That's kind of her niche. And just like any other YouTube community, the anti-Scienti community, there's collaborations, and then someone starts doing something new, and then some bigger channels will rep that. So the big thing that happened in the past like year or so in this community, they started doing anti-Scienti protests on the actual streets. So you have these creators that are like out there on the streets protesting, and a lot of people started repping these channels, and she's one of them. And then the person she's going to bring on later, his name is Aaron Smith Levin. His channel is Growing Up in Scientology. That's someone else I followed for quite a few years. He was actually on the Leah Remini show and told his story basically. Since then, I won't go into it. Him and Leah kind of had a falling out. It's a whole other thing in that community that has nothing to do with any of this. But I like Aaron, and I'm actually friendly with some people in here who aren't the biggest fans of Aaron, and I can totally see why. He's just polarizing, I guess, and he's not perfect either. May even have a slight like narcissism to him, but I like him, and she likes him too. And they have great conversation. But this first, like, I can't wait to play this for you because it's just going to be
Glitter.
like, oh, hey, Glitter. Yeah. I didn't see her. Hey, Ghostface.
Hey, Ghostface, my girl.
All right. And in this clip that we're going to watch, she's just going to hit point after point after point. I can't wait. I put it in 1.2 speed. That way it's just a little bit faster. So if it's too fast, just let me know.
Okay. And we've missed you too, Glitter.
Oh, let me share it. Glitter is about to be all done her schooling. She's like right at the finish line.
I'm so happy for her. Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'm so happy for her. That's
absolutely amazing.
Yes.
She's an awesome person.
She really is.
All right.
And omnipotent. Hi, Mama. I'm sorry. I wanted to say
hey, Mama.
Earlier.
All right, here we go.
Aloha, everybody, and welcome. Welcome. I'm Natalie, and this is Life After a Cult, the channel where we expose cult nonsense, we laugh about the absurdity, and we hope to unbrainwash ourselves in the process. All right, I tried to mind my own business this week, you guys.
All right, this just reminded me. So she's kind of more my style than, and keep in mind, I love K from K and Tay, but my personality somewhat matches this lady more. So she's kind of trying to walk that line like I've always tried to do. I just want to point that out. You're going to get a different representation than you just got from the other clips.
Things popping up. The whole saga just dropped another plot twist, and at this point, I feel like I'm watching a soap opera written by YouTube's algorithm itself. There's drama, there's unexpected alliances, there are shocking reveals, and somewhere in the middle, the YouTube algorithm is laughing maniacally while feeding this to every single one of us. And listen, I get it. We all love a good plot twist. God knows I do. But at what point does watching this roller coaster go from entertainment to I need to log off before I start defending people?
Okay, this is going to take me back to what Mama said earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, here it is. Mama said YouTube doesn't care. Their platform is set up to encourage the pot stirring because their reporting system is broken systematically. Yes, ma'am. Exactly this. And that's what she's saying, because once you watch one channel with the drama going on, you know later or the next day when you're going through your feed, it's going to give you all the other channels that are stirring the, drama pot. So she's right. And it's only beneficial to YouTube. And some people can view it, but it's kind of hard. I don't even comment really in the anti-Scientology community because
Right.
I don't want what's happened to me to happen again. Even when you just have an opinion, it can sometimes put you in the mix of the drama. And no, but some people, it's so hard for them to watch. Like Cindy, you are not someone that really likes to watch, even from a distance. I can do that and be okay, but that's kind of like you're K and I'm the Cindy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I avoid it at all costs. I don't watch any of it. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't even know in the comment section. So we're going to break a lot down today, and Aaron Smith-Levin is going to join us in a little bit to talk about it as well. So if you have questions when we start going along, put questions in front of your question or comment. Nancy's going to be helping to star so that I can grab as many of those as we can. Thank you so much, moderators, for being here, members for being here, everybody in the live chat. And if you're on the replay, aloha to you. Jump into those comments. I want to hear what you have to say as well. And we've got a question of the day. And our question of the day today for the chat and people on the replay is, hold on a second here. There it is. Thank you. What's your personal "it's time to log off" moment when watching internet chaos? Does not have to necessarily even be in this community, because let's be real, internet chaos, roller coasters, the ups and downs, that happens all over the place, even in your real lives, I bet, right? At your office, at your place of work. I bet you guys got some good tea on the shenanigans going on there.
That's a great question. And I think people should ask themselves that, because I wouldn't have been able to really answer that confidently until the past couple months. And I hit that hard line boundary. What's your point? Not even log off, but what's your point where you truly start to protect your own peace first?
Yeah. Mine.
And I know you did that.
Yeah, mine is children. Not only my children, anyone's children. I have to take a step back when children are not off limits to you. You know, if your content is weaponizing children, utilizing children to come at somebody that you don't like, that's my hard line. And there's been a few instances where one instance where I allowed my dislike to let my morals take a back seat, but I quickly snapped out of it when a child was actualized. And that's when I was like, okay, exiting stage left. And children are my hard line. All children, grown children, minors, children. If they're not on this platform and you're weaponizing them, that'll forever be a hard line for me.
That's my hard line.
Your family, of course, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in general, it doesn't hit home until it's done to you. I will say that, but that's always been my hard line. And I think people need to think about what their hard lines would be, because I think that would help give when it's never done to you, do you really give it any kind of thought? Because I think you should. And if that was one thing I could criticize from my past, it's that. But yes, I totally agree.
I think it's important for all of us to think about that, Bliss. You're right.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Not even creators, subscribers as well. Because then you're able to empathize, put yourself into the other person's shoes and really think of it from their perspective. And it's not everyone has that innate ability. And sometimes you gotta
subscribers as well. Sorry, but subscribers as well, because subscribers make the channels. You're the ones that watch. Without your views, creators would be talking to themselves. So in my opinion, subscribers wield the most power, And so we all need to think about that. What is our hard lines? What is a no for us that will make the difference between continuing to support someone, even someone that's flawed, and think about that. And how many times have you pushed that hard line to the side because of dislike or because of whatever? And being upfront with yourself is the first step in recognizing it and doing better, in my opinion.
I agree. All right.
This is something I think we can all relate to. So I want to take a look. Let's talk about why we can't look away from online chaos and how YouTube drama works like a reality TV show. And I got to be honest, I don't hate it for that. And but more importantly, when does it stop being entertainment and start hijacking your peace? Right? Sometimes it's hard to look away. There's nothing wrong with watching a little internet drama. We all do it. It's human nature. I love it. But there's a couple of different ways to see it, right? Does it hijack your peace? For one, it's like, if it's like watching a reality show where you're curious, but it doesn't consume your emotions, that's a good thing. If you watch a few videos, laugh at the ridiculous parts, and then go about your day, that's a good thing. If you recognize this is YouTube, not the Hunger Games, that is a good thing. Sometimes, though, we can be living in the drama, and sometimes people even interject themselves into it. And if you find yourself jumping from stream to stream, dropping comments, debating strangers in chats, that could be a sign it's not so entertaining anymore and your piece is being hijacked. Or if you're emotionally stressed over people you actually don't know. It's an interesting thing about YouTube and getting to know creators, especially doing live streaming, because it's so interactive. There are such beautiful relationships to come out of that. But truly, maintaining a good, healthy boundary where it doesn't hijack your peace, it's a good thing to keep in mind as a viewer. And that goes for me. Honestly, a lot of this we're talking about because I need help processing it as well.
Totally on point, right? Listening to her,
totally on point.
Like, blew my mind. Like, this is everywhere, all over.
Yeah, it's universal.
Yeah, no matter how big or small the community, doesn't matter.
Yep.
You got, keeping it out for things like not feeling personally attacked. If you feel personally attacked when someone disagrees with your favorite creator, might be a little too much. Maybe back off and take some time for yourself again. Or if you feel yourself obsessing over what's happening next. Now, having said that, like a good show, this is like reality TV in a way, right? You do kind of wonder what's going to happen next. But just like when we watch things on television, if we're not intimately involved with these individuals in real life, hopefully most can look at it as entertainment, as education, as whatever it is, if it helps you grow, right? For whatever reason. Now, if there's a point where you're no longer just watching the drama, but you're in it, that's where things can take a turn. And I feel like we've seen a lot of that I've only been here on YouTube since 13, 14 months. And there seems to be some themes. Hey, Susie Oberholtz, good to see you there. Now, listen, I say this with love and from experience. I was watching YouTube and some of the content creators before I became a content creator. And I've absolutely been that person before, not so much on YouTube, but with cult stuff, right? I spent too many hours trying to argue in arguments that had nothing to do with me, trying to prove points to people that I would never go to them for advice. So why did I care what they were saying? With the snitch culture in Scientology and often feeling like you got to be on.
That's exactly what she just said is where I've been at the past few months. Like, kind of thinking back past, things I've done, said, whatever. And this is the space that I've been in. She's way ahead of me at this point, but I'm glad she just,
right?
Yeah, a lot of self-reflecting. Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Be on the defense. And I can see that play out online sometimes. And honestly, in a way, it's interesting because that's what these platforms want, right? YouTube makes money with as much attention and views as it can get. It's a business. Content creators who are monetized, for many of us, this also is a business. It's how we in part support ourselves. For some, it's completely how they support themselves. So it's interesting when you're talking about some of the topics we're going to talk about here, but in the overall broad spectrum of YouTube, there's other genres that I follow, And I see a lot of similarities that made me go, oh, this isn't unique to this anti-Scientology community. And the YouTube algorithm feeds into this because the more invested people are in something, the more they're going to watch it. And that's kind of how it all works. And I find myself often asking that question for myself, when does it go from entertainment to not entertainment, from entertainment to actually hijacking your peace? And that's
a question, another question that I think people should be asking themselves, and not just for themselves. Try to empathize with others when you're answering that question.
Yeah. And also realizing that if you ever get to the point where you're feeling extreme hatred towards somebody you're watching, that may be a point to take a step back. If you're contemplating going to their personal social medias to dig up stuff on them, that is another point. These are moments where light bulbs should be going off, you know, when you're thinking about taking it beyond even having an opinion on whatever platform you're viewing it on. That right there should be a light bulb moment. You know what I mean? And if you get to that
I
point,
take it further. I think even take it a step further, even like, because there's a lot of that going on for one, but it's also a group of people in like different kind of group chats behind the scenes who are correlating with each other to further do that to someone.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with being in group chats or, you know, the dreaded Discord. I think that as with anything, it's what you do, what you say, right? If you have a space where a bunch of people are coming together, sharing other people's information, digging into people, I think that that is a problem. You know what I mean?
Flag.
Because
Red flag.
right, especially when people feed, just like us, right? We're live. We feed off of each other's emotions, just like the chat will feed off of our emotions, we'll feed off of theirs. And this frenzied effect happens, especially when you're in a group setting, because you're feeding off of each other's emotions. And if you care about each other, that's when you check each other, like, hey, snap out of it. It's not that serious. Let's not go that deep. Let's not go that far. So there has to be a moment in time where somebody or multiple people say, hey, we were getting too invested. We're getting too angry. You know
Someone
what I mean?
has to step up. And it can be hard when you're in the midst of it. Like was said earlier, when you're in the middle of the drama and it's going on, you can overlook that kind of stuff. That's where the self-reflection comes into play. Cindy, have me and you ever been behind the scenes to go, hey, go to so-and-so's channel right now and you comment this, and then I'm going to go here and comment this, and then we're going to tag them? Like, no, that's too far.
I would kick my own ass if I ever did that. I would kick my own ass if I ever came and told one of you guys, hey, go comment in the chat right now. Go troll in the chat right now. I would kick my own ass. And hi, Botched Reality. So good to see you. No, because again, it's about being self-aware. Like, let me tell you something. I can be petty. I call people a few B words. Yes, never my friends. But if I feel like you're a B word, I'm going to call you a B word, okay? But I'm not going to plot and scheme. Like, dude, what is this? Like, what are we even talking about? Like, we're going to plot and scheme. No, this is not my job. Yeah, and if I had a job doing that, I would suck at it. I would suck at it. Like, no, ma'am.
And just to take it outside of YouTube, hey, Michelle, I like her comment. She said, that's exactly what I do if I can feel myself getting mad. I leave. And that's funny. And my hubs can even verify this. This is why I stopped watching a lot of football a few years ago, because I would get so invested and so angry, like hyped up. And I'm like, I don't like this feeling at all.
Right.
And I never really correlated that until I just read her comment. So, and you're right, Mama. Social media is deliberately set up to exploit people's vulnerabilities. And then you have awful, disgusting human beings that take it a step further.
Yep.
Glitter says, as subscribers, we need to not hype each other up to do something we don't want to be responsible for. If we really care, we need to steer each other to the better way of handling it. And that's where I'm at too.
Amen.
If there's no
And that's how you know if
solution-
people don't care about you.
Yep, exactly. And it's one thing to come on and talk about past stuff, but if we're
Mhm.
still reliving it years later, just to give people a slap in the face, and we're not reevaluating it to see what can be done better or do better or have some kind of solution to something, then I
Yes.
just want no part of it anymore.
Nope. Beating a dead horse. You're going to keep reminding me of something that I'm very aware of. Like, I've acknowledged it. What more do you want? A pint of my blood? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yep. All right.
A huge part what I want to get into, and like I said, Aaron Smith Levin's going to jump on and talk about this as well. We're going to talk about a lot of the stuff that's been happening lately, and I think too, part of what I'm realizing is that the more emotionally involved you get, the more content you consume, right? Even off of YouTube, shows that I'm into, I'm a binger. I like to binge a show. I want to see the whole thing. You got to make me wait a week for another episode. I'm not about that life. I'm too spoiled.
Oh my God,
I
me
want it all
too.
now.
I can't.
I love
Yep.
finding a new show that has multiple.
You know what's funny? Me and the Hub started watching the new Dexter series. So good. They just wrapped up a couple weeks ago. It is so good. But when we started watching it, we didn't realize they only had like 2 or 3 episodes up.
Oh,
so we
no.
get to like the 3rd or 4th episode and it's like, wait till next week. I'm like, you mother, why didn't you check that before we started watching it? Because I'm totally what she just said. I need.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm not going to watch it all in one sitting, but it's nice if we have
Yep.
the opportunity to binge to keep it going.
Yep. I won't watch a series unless it's already ended. Like, that's me.
Yeah.
I will not. If it's ongoing, I will not. Oh, wait till Sunday. No, F that. I want to see the whole thing. I want to know how it ends. I wait till a whole series is done before I even start a series. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, everyone's making great points in the chat. I'm just making sure to highlight them all.
Seasons. Am I alone in this? Show of hands.
No,
Tell me in
girl.
the chat.
You ain't.
I like when there's multiple seasons and I can just watch the whole thing. Not necessarily in one sitting, but I want to be able to like wrap it up and put some bows around some plot lines. And this doesn't work
Yes.
in a genre like YouTube when things are happening in real time. And sometimes when there's a lot going on and you have creators that you like, maybe ones that you don't, and they're fighting with each other, you know, how do you not get so emotionally invested? Does it leave you feeling stressed, frustrated, or exhausted? But it's something you have absolutely zero control over, myself included. I enjoy watching a lot of the content, even the ups and the downs and the plot twists, right? But I often have to remind myself that I have to like keep my head straight first. And as long as I'm finding it entertaining, and in my position, some of my very good friends are involved in this. So it's, you know, I like to do commentary on things in the community, mainly when it comes to exposing Scientology and things happening in the protest world. But there's really not a way to not, you know, it becomes an elephant in the room at some point. My approach has always been, how can we learn from this? How can we use this moving forward? How can we use it as a jumping point to a bigger conversation of these issues that we all face, not just the people who are involved in, you know, in these arguments or in these disagreements that are online. And
So that is what I've struggled with, because I also like to do commentary. And it's not an easy rope to tight walk, and it can be difficult. And again, I'm flawed. I'm not perfect. And I recognize that in the past, I've probably not went about that in the most appropriate way, but learning and growing, people. Okay.
And it's tricky because we're all here for the same reason. Well, maybe not all of us for the same reason, but for the most part, we care about, here on my channel, exposing cults and high control groups and having a good time doing it. But sometimes things get weird, right? There's patterns that we see. Someone joins the anti-Scientology space. Maybe it's a former member. Maybe it's someone never in Scientology, but all in on ending this cult. And then they're the main character or try to be. And then focus starts to shift from exposing cults or high control groups to exposing each other. And then next thing you know, you're fighting about them instead of fighting actual cults. But it doesn't mean that a lot of that dialogue and even the disagreements don't have a place.
See, now you're going to notice the running difference between what people want to call like the community over here versus their community, because they actually have like a common goal. I mean, it's to call out what I consider a CULT, and a lot of other people consider it that. What's the common goal that we can always fall back on over here? Because I couldn't find one.
I couldn't find one either. And that's when I had to step away, Bliss. That's exactly why I stepped away, because it was constant just going back and forth, changing the characters, but just it being personal and messy. And I had started my channel about recovery and addiction. And so that's when I started covering having a discussing things with a common goal. That's a great point. Talking about people on TikTok that are pretending to be in recovery, that aren't, that are harming their children, about the behaviors, right?
Yeah.
And I can speak about it from the standpoint of somebody being in recovery, and how recovery is not my personality trait, but so much that I've learned in recovery has helped me as a person. And if we implemented a lot of the principles of recovery into our daily lives, even people that were never addicts, it can help us be a better person.
Yep.
So it's about the bigger picture for me. And I had gotten sidetracked so much with messy, petty shit that I lost sight of that. And so that's why I will continue to just talk about things that are important to me, people that I have no personal interactions with. And if any of these people that I speak about, their behaviors, start to speak about me, I will move away, because then I become biased. I'm still speaking about each of these situations from an unbiased place. But if I ever get in their line of sight where they're making videos or posts about me, I will remove myself from the situation and move on to someone else. You know what I mean? Because I can only be responsible for me and the part that I play in it. Yep.
Totally agree.
Because a lot of it is the healing that people need to go through, especially coming out of Scientology. And I can speak about that from experience. We were letting go of that cult mentality. Sometimes that takes some time. And many of us were indoctrinated, raised to be that way, to have black and white thinking, to not defend, to always attack. And then suddenly things become less, how do we hold dangerous organizations accountable, and more, who blocked who on Twitter. And I mean, listen, I have no moral high ground here. I'm just saying I left a cult to escape the drama, and I don't have the energy for a bunch more. But at the same time, these are legitimate issues, right? These are have everything to do with somebody coming out of a cult and breaking cult mentality, or maybe even carrying forward.
I can confidently say the same thing. I sit on no moral throne, and I know some people want to run with that. And I think people confuse my bluntness and just being confident in what I say, how I say it, how I speak, for it being cocky and I'm telling other people they're wrong, and no, there's no moral high ground here. I am no different from anyone else. I think we lost Cindy. She'll be back. I'll look out for you soon.
That cult mentality, I find all of that fascinating, and it's why I watch a lot of creators, even ones that I don't agree with. Mainly because, one, I don't want to create an echo chamber for myself. But secondly, I'm fascinated by the whole psychology of it all. How does this happen? And I don't know if you guys find that as fascinating as I do, but it is something that my whole time I've been on YouTube, I've been looking at and watching and processing for myself. Why do I feel more pulled towards this? Or why do I feel or don't feel what some of...
Yep. And that's another self-reflection and reevaluating. And as you grow and learn, sometimes you look later, you look at things differently from the past.
Yep.
It's that easy.
Some others feel. It's been a fascinating topic for me. And sometimes the YouTube algorithm is not our friend, right? When it comes to protecting your own mental health and maybe if you need a break from it, right? The moment there's a public fight, the algorithm turns into a toxic friend, hyping you up to make bad choices. But again, I think the big thing for me is it interfering with your peace or not? That's what I ask myself. If it's interfering with my peace, because I value peace a lot, then I have to back off and I have to not watch certain creators sometime. And I'm going off the assumption that it's the same for all of you, because I have been a viewer of content on YouTube way. All
right. Before anyone runs with anything, Kratos in the chat is referring to Shelly Miscavige. Okay. That is the Scientology leader's wife who has been missing for years. And it's a constant running theme and like titles and like streams and videos done in the anti-Scientology community. Where is Shelly?
Oh,
okay. Okay. Don't block him, JJ. Had to stop her to say that because God almighty.
Longer than I've been a content creator. And becoming a content creator, it really, there's a lot of different point of views in that. And I think it's interesting to talk about that. And that's part of what I want to talk about Erin with. So again, I'm going to pull up Erin Smith-Levin from Growing Up in Scientology.
All right. So now we're getting into Erin and her conversation. I probably one of the best openings to a YouTube video I've ever seen.
Okay.
Her whole spiel, when she went on for like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So just the points just kept slapping me in the face over and over. I'm like, yes. And it's a running theme throughout this entire video, actually. Like, we may have to two-part this then. Two-part it.
I'm okay with that.
And yes, Kratos. Yes, Kratos. There it is. He knows nothing, y'all. Seriously. None of any of this is ever a conversation in our day. And up until a couple months ago, I could have shut, my laptop and gone on with my day. He literally clueless.
Yes.
All right.
And that's the best way to be.
Ignorance is bliss, right?
Yes, ma'am.
People could switch that negatively towards me now that I'm saying that out loud.
Oh, ignorance is bliss. Yes, you said it, bliss.
Yeah, it's coming. I don't give a fuck. Run with it. Here, I'll give you that.
Yeah, exactly.
So here, they're kind of touching on how certain people in their community think that they speak for everyone.
Okay.
Over that lap there's a lot been happening with Relatable Reese's story involving Tommy. You've done a couple of videos or did one, was it yesterday, about why?
Okay, so they're going to be mentioning, I'm going to fast forward just a tiny bit. I was a little off. Like different people. And again, you don't need to know the story to be able to correlate certain people to certain people in maybe the community that you're in, is what I'm saying.
Right. It's again universal.
Over that there's a lot been happening with Relatable Reese's story
my
involving Tommy.
stream
You've done a
down
couple videos or did one, was it yesterday, about why you don't do videos anymore with Tommy Scoville. And as part of that, went on to kind of explain and share what happened from a perspective. I don't think people have really heard from you on that. For example, these are all things that Reese herself has already shared, that she met Tommy and Cliff.
So Relatable Reese is just another, creator over there, also an anti-Scientology. And then the guy, Tommy, that they're going to be talking about is not an ex-Scientology. And he's someone that came into the community, I think, when all like the protest and stuff really started to get big. Just for a little backstory.
Okay. Clearwater, that they were having an affair and that she lied about it. But this is something that you, as someone who was there, did not know about for a while. And, and then when you were protesting last night, you addressed Lara FM's video. And there's just been a lot going on. And I think to kind of boil it down, I was thinking about this. And I was thinking, in your position, because you seem to take the most heat, there seems to be, not for all, but for some, and I honestly believe it's a minority, that you somehow speak for everyone, or because you have the largest channel, that you run everybody else's channel, or because you're the president of the foundation, that you're in charge of us. And it's not something that I ever subscribe to. But I guess one thing I want to know is, what are your thoughts? How do you feel about that when being made to be, well, Aaron, you have the biggest channel, therefore anybody you bring into the community, you need a security check before unleashing them on all of us?
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for sticking only to the approved talking points that we agreed upon this morning in our coordination meeting. As the leader of everyone, I really appreciate that. Okay. What was the question? No. Okay. Okay. I don't have like one specific answer to this question. I feel like
Did you just see his face? Like you can tell. What's the word?
I want to answer the question.
Sorry, I always have trouble. Like exacerbated. Like just you can tell. Like he's been put through the ringer with like the same kind of shit that we've been going. On a different level, different whatever. But like his face, like and he kind of leaned down, put his hand, like that has been me for the past few months. I'm just over it.
The sigh, right? The big sigh, like oh God.
Yeah. That's been me.
Just how I think about what I'm even here doing on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I can only speak for myself. And I've only ever attempted to speak for myself, which is a little ironic because a lot of the criticism from certain people is that I've never embraced my de facto position as the leader of this movement. And therefore I am a derelict in my responsibilities. And I owe a responsibility to certain persons to lead. And it's like,
oh my God,
I am the way I think about what I am even on YouTube doing is also the way I tend to assume everyone else thinks about what they're on YouTube doing. But clearly I'm probably wrong about that. What I think I'm here on YouTube doing is just filling a vacuum that I decided did not exist. Filling a vacuum that I decided was there.
Yeah.
Which was
forgive me for, so he's going to go into his like specific that you guys really don't need to know about. But you can see like the weight on his shoulders.
Yeah, and I can relate so much because I am in recovery, and I speak about recovery. People always act like I'm a spokesman for all addicts, and it's this weird thing. She doesn't speak for all of us, but then when something happens, why didn't you speak up for all of us? It's this weird dynamic that it's like,
you can't win.
What? Pick a lane and stay in it. I speak for myself. I speak from my personal experience, but I am not a spokesman. I'm not an advocate. I'm none of these things. I am just Cindy. And I, again, speak from my experience and things that I know about, and I address things that are harmful, like people giving out wrong information about, maintenance medications or about having surgeries and all these things because I've experienced it. So it's this weird thing. It's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm not a spokesman for all addicts. I'm not a spokesman for all recovering addicts. I don't come here. Sorry, excuse me. My channel isn't Cindy, my last name, certified drug counselor. That's not what I do here, and it's crazy because some people expect that from me, and then other people want to criticize me for that. Like, shut your asses up.
And it all comes down to like their assumption of you, your channel, and then unreasonable expectations that you can never meet.
Yes. Amen.
Yep. All right. So this one. Okay. Now, this may be one of the clips where you can correlate your own person, because I feel like there's always one of these people in every community that perches themselves on their little fake pedestal.
Yeah. And that was it. There was no step of the way where it's like, oh, now this has, become something different. That's what it's been the entire time. How do I get the message out about the various ways in which Scientology is a family destroying human trafficking cult to as broad of an audience as possible. And then it actually did become, and how can I get as many other people to do that as possible?
Yeah.
We throw around terms like community, leader, and it's like, that's not how I ever think about what I'm doing here or what other people are doing here or what we collectively are doing here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when shit's going down and, you know, noise over here and explosions over here and scandal over here, my fallback is, all right, what Scientology video am I going to do today?
Mm-hmm.
It's not, how am I going to?
And my default is, okay, what animal video can I upload today?
Yep. And mine is,
You know?
is recovery content, right? We all have a default, like a safe space. You know what I mean? That we fall back into, that resets our mind. And we should all have
Cindy,
that.
some people don't. Some people don't have that. And their entire being and energy and focus is only on this, only on the drama.
And we all participate in drama. It's easier to consume drama when it doesn't personally affect you, or, you know what I mean? You're not personally involved. So I understand that, but it's about personal responsibility as well. Knowing the part you play in it, not acting oblivious to the part that you've played in it. We've all been guilty of playing a part and engaging in it. And again, it's about self-awareness, being self-aware to know that we make mistakes and we engage in funuckery, and knowing when to step back and remove yourself.
And when someone decides to step back and remove themselves, seems what gets the other
Allow
side
them to do that.
Really ramped up and like, oh, they're not here anymore, or they're not speaking out anymore. Now's my time to go in.
Well, only cowards do that. Sorry, that's just my opinion.
Haven't people in the past talking about kicking a horse while it's down? Hasn't that been like a big line for some people?
Yeah.
Only
Only cowards think to sink their teeth in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Gonna manage this? How am I gonna manage that? It's like, hey, what Scientology video am I gonna do today?
Mm-hmm.
I think what was the original question? I'm sorry, Nat.
You know, it's basically like how you handle, I mean, even if this might be a better way of wording it, like how do you handle the pressure of being a public voice against Scientology while also dealing with an online community? And I think I like where you were going with that, because I think that's important. That I think a lot of people who watch the content, the vast majority of our audience are people never in Scientology, but all in on this cult. And they see it turn onto YouTube, they watch it, and that's it, and they go about their business. It can be different sometimes for people who are maybe more within that community, who have a point of view that because you have the biggest channel and because you head up a foundation, that you're therefore in charge. It's a sword that cuts both ways.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I just have to repeat what I've said that I think is obvious. Having the biggest channel doesn't make you in charge of anything other than your own channel. Being the president of a foundation doesn't make you in charge of anything other than that foundation. There is no greater responsibility to all ex-Scientologists or all people with YouTube channels or all protesters or anything like that. It's just, there just isn't. And I think the insistence that there is just a Scientology way of thinking. There has to be someone in charge. There has to be a leader. The very people who either demand that I be the leader or criticize me for acting like a leader are the people who themselves then turn around and act like they are the leader. You know, the people who in their videos speak about what they think we all should be doing, or what everyone should be doing, or we should all be coordinated, or we should all be on the same page.
Right? Sound familiar, right?
Yes.
Yep. I'm telling you, it's every community. There's someone.
That is complete nonsense, in my opinion. There is absolutely no benefit to us all being on the same page, depending on what we mean by that. If what we mean by that is we spend very little time complaining about each other in our videos, and we all spend the vast majority of our time educating the world in all the ways in which Scientology is a family destroying human trafficking cult, however somebody goes about doing that, then I would agree it's valuable for us to all be on the same page. But but it shouldn't go further to be like we should all be coordinated. No, we shouldn't. That's insane. We should not all be coordinated. I think the coordination should stop at, maybe we only spend 5 or 10% of our time, bitching about someone we don't like, and we just agree that we're going to spend 90% of the time bitching about Scientology. Any coordination beyond that is pointless. On a human level, I obviously want to collaborate and help people who are my friends, people who I like.
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's how we should all be operating.
Yeah.
There's no responsibility to platform people you don't like, even if you think they're doing good work. It's everyone's personal decision for themselves. It's not a decision that gets made out of some sense of responsibility or obligation. Also, when it comes to the idea of like introducing people to the community, I feel like it is so condescending.
A lot of good points, right?
Yes. And I'm sorry I can't mute. My phone is acting possessed. It won't allow me to mute or see the chat. So sorry.
You're fine. I think people put, like I said before, unreasonable expectations on others. And then when it's not, their personal expectations aren't fulfilled, they cry and whine.
But it's okay to have, sorry.
Go ahead, because I think I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
It's okay to have expectations, but when you set them higher for everyone else, these expectations that you don't abide by, and you're outraged, someone would expect you that you have put in place on other people. I think that's when it becomes glaringly obvious that you're a hypocrite. You know, like you have this standard at 100 for everybody else, but you can't even overcome level 1 for yourself.
Yep.
It's crazy to me.
Or you have different levels placed on people that you deem bad.
Yep.
I mean, some things should be generally put on everyone. Some people just have no boundaries. And the people watching excuse it because they don't like those people that they're crossing boundaries on.
And it's only natural to set higher expectations for people you don't like because of our biases. Seriously, that's normal, right? We do that. Even subconsciously, we set these standards for people we don't like. Anything, even if it's valid points, it tends to hit our ear wrong because we don't like them.
Yeah.
So I understand that as well.
There's that
people you like the worse,
where everyone should be like, nope, absolutely not. That's wrong. And people are missing the mark there, in my opinion. And I'm one of those people who did that before. I fully admit it.
Me too. And we've lost so many amazing opportunities for amazing discussions when we did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And some of those people we've had from years ago, in the past year, we've had discussions with and rectified and squashed old shit. And in those situations, we all recognized our own wrongdoings. Some people don't have that in them, though.
Yep. No, they don't have that ability, sadly.
No. All right. This next clip is how you really don't owe anyone anything.
Else who wanted to do something similar to what Streets was doing, helping introduce them to a wider audience. Because honestly, it was just fun. It's just fun. It didn't then give me an obligation. It didn't give me a responsibility. It didn't create an obligation on behalf of anybody who I was helping. I considered it a win-win. Yes. It's a win-win. I was helping I was being more of a nightmare for David Miscavige by creating helping other people build their platforms, so there was more platforms around trying to be a nightmare for David Miscavige. Like, it was almost selfish. I was like, this is filling a need that I have, you know? And I think anyone who I ever helped along the way there would testify to this. There was never a sense of obligation in return. It wasn't something I was doing so that I could then get something back. And so it's always made me scratch my head a little bit to hear these lines repeated, admittedly from only a 2 or 3 people, that like I have some sort of an obligation or responsibility, or I owe it to people to help them make money on YouTube, or I owe it, or I owe anything, or even the narrative that anyone here owes anyone anything. Like, it's actually kind of crazy. What are you talking about? We're ex-Scientologists talking about Scientology on YouTube, and in any social group, things are gonna go sour and sideways a little bit, and I don't want to get too far off the beaten track of whatever the original question was, but it's like, this whole idea of creating artificial expectations and responsibilities and projecting them on someone and then complaining when those expectations aren't being met, and then using that as a vector for criticism and division.
Oof.
It's like, it's stupid. It's destructive. It's a distraction. And that's why when I just, you know, when things get really loud and messy, it's like, I'll just do 3 more Scientology videos today. It's no skin off my back. Like, that's what I did before I tried to build a whole community. And that's what I'll do if the community ceases to exist. In the meantime, I'll continue to help my friends. I'll continue to help people leaving Scientology. I'll continue to raise money for the foundation. I'll continue to get the word out, because that's what I'm here for. And I'm here to have fun doing it. I'm not going to let anything get in the way of my ability to have fun doing what I'm doing. And nobody else really should either. Like,
that's right.
What does it say? No one reports to Aaron. He even seems to hold back for a long time until he feels he needs to weigh in. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. The same people who want to either criticize me for not being a leader or demand that I am being a leader, again, are the people who themselves turn around and try to pretend like they are now the leader. They're the ones who are going to say, if we're not all doing this, there's something wrong, or we need to get better at this, or we need to this, or we need to that. And I always ask myself, who the hell is we? Why are you always trying to speak for a whole group of people?
Yep.
I challenge anyone to go through my videos and find one instance where I have even attempted or pretended to speak for anybody other than solely myself.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh my God.
Even 6 months ago when I did my video that
Yep.
Preach, dude. Like, seriously.
I'm telling you.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
telling you, you guys, you need to seriously go to the link after this live and watch this video in its full. It's wow. It blew my mind. It still is. Listening to it the second time, it's still like, it rings so true.
Yep. It really does. It really, and again, it applies universally. You don't have to be in that community or even know who they're speaking about to understand that it applies universally.
Which was my point in this entire live. Yep.
I know.
Yep. And I feel like no matter what, because a lot of people who watch me come from many different communities. And like I said before, I feel like everyone can correlate and like take something away. And you can go, oh my God, this reminds me of this person. This reminds me of this person. You know, it just,
There's something
very
to be
relatable.
gained insight for everyone. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
If people can set aside their hate and bias, there is like real valid insight that you can take from this.
Yes.
But again, I'm not going to put that expectation on people. Like, I can't demand that people hear it or see it at the same time.
No.
So got to lower those expectations.
Right.
So, but if you're going to put expectations out there, you have to be genuine and the same across the board with it.
Right. Abide by your own expectations.
Yes. You can't put expectations on someone you don't like and then someone you're friends with, you let get away with it because they're your friend.
And again, we've all been guilty of it. We're speaking, right. Yeah. We're not saying something that we haven't participated in. We're speaking from personal knowledge, guys. So before that's said too, take your own advice. We are. That's the point.
And will I fuck up? Probably, because we're all fucking human.
Yes,
I mean,
we're flawed.
Yeah.
But recognize it and try to do better. That's it.
That's all you can do. And I don't understand the continuous shitting on shitting on people when I feel like you can see that they're trying to do better.
Yeah, I agree.
And then other people who are doing the opposite and doing like what they've always done, which has always been foul and disgusting, are getting a pass.
Yeah. And we understand it's easier to join forces with the devil than dance with the devil. But no one even asked you to even get involved. Right. But no one even asked you to get involved at all. So the devil won't see you if you don't involve yourself. That's it. Plain and simple. No one's expecting you to come to anyone's defense or any of that, but you're actually doing the devil's work for him.
Yep.
metaphorically. So
Well, and that's what the devil wants. And
yeah,
the devil's getting it. I mean,
yeah. And the
it's
devil's
sad that
greatest
people
trick
can't
was
see
making
that.
people believe he didn't exist,
Yep.
right? Okay. So keep doing it.
I mean, it's only, I mean, as much as I'd love for all this bullshit to stop, it only benefits me in the end. I mean, I don't want it done. It's something hard to juggle with in your brain.
And she doesn't
It
mean
is.
that she enjoys this at the expense of her family. What she means is it's inevitably happening anyway.
Yeah.
And in the long run, she will benefit from it. So don't misunderstand what she's saying, that this is somehow beneficial to her and she's encouraging these things to happen. These things are happening no matter what. We have no control over that. So before
Exactly
that's said too. Yes.
I mean, but again, they're going to twist however they can twist to
Of
their
course.
own narrative.
And we get it.
Yeah.
And we get it. People's interpretation of our words. We can't control people's interpretation of our words. And that's why I try to explain as clearly as I can, because sometimes I say things and it comes out not the way I intended it. You know what I mean? So I just want to be as clear and concise as I can to try to avoid that from happening, but it's still going to happen, and that's fine as well. So.
Yep. All right.
Like, from your perspective, what do you think the best way is for people to stay informed without getting emotionally invested?
Informed about Scientology?
Yeah, just like as because I think what ends up happening often is there aren't and there's probably a better way of wording that. More like, as a content creator, for me, I feel like I have a responsibility to my chat and people who come in. I want to maintain an environment and a community here on my channel where people feel comfortable asking any and all questions about Scientology, because there's a lot of new people who join my channel that don't know what the many people who've been around and my members know about Scientology. And my chat has been amazing that way. And because the moderators, it's like, hey, there's a couple of them who are like, hey, watch out for trolls and get rid of them. Otherwise, greet people, get to know them. Let's answer questions. Not about, I'm with you on the just not, controlling it so much. Because I think when we leave a group like Scientology, you go two ways, right? Either like, yeah, no, I'm not controlling people in anything. And then the other extreme is, we need to do this. Everyone needs to do this. There's only one way. And that type of verbiage gives me anxiety, because my cult radar starts going off and I'm like, nope, not doing it.
I mean, the problem is, whatever content you put out there, you're going to end up with an audience that wants that. So if you're putting out the type of content where you're constantly criticizing people, you're constantly issuing edicts for how everyone should do this and everyone should do that, and you're upbraiding people for not meeting this expectation or that expectation, you're going to end up with an audience that is there for that and supports you in doing that. And then you end up being captured by that audience. So I think the first question you asked me is, how do you stay up to date without getting emotionally invested? Because of the nature of the live chat and the live streams and the live audience, I don't actually know that there's a great way to avoid that, because people do get connected with you. The more they emotionally connect with what your content and your personality, and they feel like they know you and they get emotionally invested in you, and that's not necessarily bad. That's not bad. But I'll give you an example where it starts to go bad. There's this phrase that I've heard. It came up in the protest community, and actually, let me take a half step.
Just every clip is just like, wow, yes. I really don't even know what else to say. Like, they're saying it for me.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, there's just maybe 40 seconds left of this.
Okay.
Step back. You have to understand, when I started promoting the protesters and the protest channels, it was never from a perspective of what I'm doing is better than what they're doing.
Yes.
But I'm going to help them anyway. Or what they're doing is better than what I'm doing, and that's why I have a responsibility to promote them. It was like, all are welcome. Almost any form of Scientology activism is welcome, as long as it doesn't cross the line into harassment and breaking the law. In other words, I consider what we were doing here on regular videos to be just as valuable as what the protesters were doing, and vice versa. And I think the
as long as, and I personally, and others can disagree, I don't feel like I've ever crossed that line. And it's pretty telling that whenever people come at me it's always based off of who I'm friends with. Well, you're friends with so-and-so and they did this.
Yep.
So you
Me too.
can't say anything. This is your karma.
Yep.
You deserve everything that's coming to you.
Yep. Me too.
Oh, for something I didn't even
90%.
do.
Right. 90% of the time, I'm guilty by association. Not
Yep.
even something that I've personally said or done, just by
Or agree with.
association. Yeah. Yeah. Stuff that I've acknowledged that I don't agree with. Right. I'm still
Yep.
held accountable for that. And it makes no sense. I am an individual person and can only control myself. But most of the time, my 90%, if not even more, of my issues on YouTube are because of something that I did not say or do. Astonishing how that happens.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Martin's mommy.
Hey, my queen, Martin's mommy, my girl.
I love seeing her because I used to see her so much, and we kind of see each other
Yeah.
few and far between anymore. It's good
Yeah,
seeing
that's my
you.
girl. That's my girl.
Just to
right
support
there.
my friends. I choose to defend my friends. And as long as I'm here and have the ability to do so, I will always do that. And anyway, I'm rambling at this point. I
Well,
forgot.
there's a history there. You know, there's
Yes.
a person who has a history of doing that in other communities. And when you kind of zoom out and you look at all of that, it's like, oh, well, of course. Now, early on, I did, you did, many of us got emails, people trying to reach us when he first showed up saying, hey, this guy causes chaos. But with the world we came from, the first thing Scientology does is tries to discredit people who are speaking out about Scientology. So when we hear that, or I'll speak for myself, when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, all right, you know, until I see it. And sometimes I get burned because I want to see it first. Because just because somebody tells me something does not mean that I'm adopting it as truth. And I
Oof.
don't even think that I would necessarily change that because there's so much in this world, even outside of this community, where somebody has an opinion. I mean, think about it, right? Anybody who's divorced, your ex might be a nightmare, but for somebody else, when they get together, Tony was a nightmare to his ex-wife. For me, you know, he was my soulmate, and she and I get along fantastically. So it just depends on where you're looking at it from.
That's right. And I
Perspectives.
Yep.
Yep.
And I just want to send her love and prayers. I've just started following her, but I'm gathering that maybe her partner passed away recently. So that's also something that she's been dealing with during all this is like grief. And I know a lot of us have been there as well.
Yeah, she has my deepest condolences, but it's so true. Our perspectives shape us, and we all get influenced, whether we want to admit it or not. You watch somebody and they purchase something, and you get influenced to buy it. You know, someone says something, and you adopt their speech patterns. It happens. We get influenced whether we recognize it or not. But again, it's about being self-aware that, hey, I'm taking on the thoughts and opinions of someone else when those may not be my opinions, you know, and adapting your mindset to that, understanding it.
I mean, it would be really fucking boring on YouTube if everyone had the same opinions and same perspectives.
Right? Stepford
but
wives? No, thank you.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, you always want to weigh everyone's perspective, especially people that I appreciate and admire, but you always want to do the research yourself and gain your own perspective. It's super important.
Exactly. It's okay to respect everyone's opinion. I think it's so important. And again, a lot of it has to do with the delivery. You know what I mean? Even people that don't like me, if their delivery is a certain way, I can absorb it easier. And I try to respect everybody's opinions, even those I don't agree with. And like she said, you know, or he said, that when you have these chats and stuff, you know, because a lot of people have become paranoid, especially on TikTok. I got blocked just coming in a chat. Like, these people want these secret meetings on public platforms, and that's not a thing. Even in your members only lives, those are not private. They're a closed setting, but anyone you can't control who becomes a member. So you can't expect this expectation of secrecy on public platforms. And a lot of people are becoming paranoid. And, you know, there's a difference between people that are trolling you and coming in to disrupt your chat and new people. And it's important to distinguish between the two. Don't assume that any new face that comes into your chat is a troll, because you're doing yourself a disservice. And that's not what this platform was built for. This platform was built to form communities, get to know people. So I think it's important, because there's so many creators that any new face is a troll and they don't want. Then why are you live for? You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, and we've all been guilty of that. Yeah, we've all been guilty of believing stuff that others have said.
Yes, ma'am.
Every single one of us.
Yes.
And I feel like me and JJ, and I'm not speaking for her, she was just on the live where Potty Mouth came in the chat. It was an account, Potty Mouth. And when someone comes in to, like you said, you have to distinguish between the automatic trolls and the people that are coming in to like genuinely ask questions. And I feel like me and JJ, like where we were at then, was just automatically on the defense. And we definitely evaluated them wrong, in my opinion. And then the next live, they came in, and I just really, like, afterwards, I appreciated their perspective. And we all need that. And we've all been in a headspace where it's hard for us to take the criticism at the same time. And it's really hard when the people like who come to my channel to constantly just question me and bring up things from the past and compare me to this and that and blah, blah. And I never see them on any of my animal videos. I never see them on any of my like positive posts. It's always for the drama. And yes, drama is okay. Like she has said during the stream, we all like to consume it. It's just, I think it's human nature. I really do. The online interactive reality show. And it's easy to get consumed by that. And all people aren't in the same headspace. You're somewhere different in life than I am. We're all going to look at things differently, perceive things differently, and react to things differently. And sometimes I feel like you just have to meet people where they're at. But it's to the point now where I'm done trying with certain people. If you only come in with negativity and that's all I see from you, I'm just going to hide you from the channel.
And you have that right. And again, it's the difference between asking valid questions or coming in as you're an interrogator. Like, what is happening here? You know what I mean? You're not even open to the possibility. Again, the truth doesn't seem like that's what you're seeking. You come in acting as if you're asking a valid question. And when I answer said question, you just ask another question and continue to push further. And that's why that saying, don't negotiate with terrorists, not saying people on YouTube are terrorists, but the analogy that it's never good enough. It's never going to be good enough. And once you give in to demands, they just make more demands.
Well, and it's funny because if you look at those threads, like the comment threads back and forth, they never answer our questions.
No. Nope.
So.
And that's why I don't even bother. You know that, Bliss. I don't go into comment sections, even debating, because I've already realized it's not even a conversation they want to have. They just want it for show, I guess. You know, to screenshot it. And
proved my point. You just proved my point. You were at that stage long before I have arrived to that stage. And that's what I mean. Like, people are in different stages. I just love seeing all the positive comments in the chat. Thank you guys. You can ask Cindy. I was excited. Like, I have not been excited about YouTube. I've really been trying to consume things that I like, I'm interested in. And I'm so happy I came across everything I've come across here. And I was actually excited to present it and show it. So it's nice to see the positivity.
And you guys are enjoying it. Yes.
You're welcome, Ronnie. You're always welcome. Seriously. Jen says, you two are saying so much on point. Feels words I've all stuffed inside me when I watch content creators and subs. I feel a whoosh listening to the sweet words you sing. And Jen and Barrett, I'm sorry. I'm sorry it took me a little while to get there, but Jen and Barrett has someone that's always been so positive towards me. And like you said, there's an approach to give people criticism. And a lot of the people here, like Jen and Barrett, Martin's mommy, they just have a way to do it. So if you come onto my channel or post or comment section, it's obvious who's already coming with an agenda. Yeah. And the approach could just be better, is all I'm saying. Because I'm not going to get into it.
I agree.
Exactly, JJ. It's the entitlement. She said the issue is that people like that usually act like something is owed to them, so they don't stop. Nope, instant block from now on. And that's because priorities. And the top of my priority list is always going to be to protect my family. And right after that is protecting my peace.
Because, excuse me, protecting our mental well-being, that responsibility falls solely on our shoulders. And I think too many people come online and expect other people to protect their mental health. And if that's what you're expecting, this is not the place for you, because unfortunately, you're not going to get that. So, and as adults, we have to understand that protecting our mental health is our responsibility. Again, as empathetic people, you would assume other people would get it. I'm overwhelmed. I'm not in a good headspace. But sometimes that's when people want to poke and prod more.
Well, that's what happened to me.
Understand that.
I legitimately have said that to people specifically. And like, please, just can we stop for now? Not forever. Just I'm going, and it's again, you're not privy to anything personal that I'm going through.
No.
Also, at the same time, I can't have the expectation that everyone's going to grant it to me, but there was a couple people who I said that to, who I thought would respect it and didn't. And that's when I realized, no, they have their agenda. They already have their mind made up about me. And based on other comments I've seen other places, like that's very fucking clear now. It's protecting my peace is going to be first. Pop says everyone has made mistakes. It seems to cause more problems trying to correct them because people want everyone to continue fighting instead of making peace. I said my apologies and moved on. Two things from that. There is someone that wants everyone to keep fighting. And I refuse to give in to that anymore. Okay? Nope. You people who are, just know you're doing exactly what they want. Okay? And the second thing, Pop has made apologies. And like, there's been a couple times where I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Like it's squashed. We can move on. And literally the next fucking morning, it's all going to shit again. And then I just saw something similar a couple days ago. I saw a video that I was tagged in, even though I haven't spoken or said a fucking word about people or this person. And I thought stuff was squashed between them and Pop. And like, it's never fucking ending. It's never ending.
And that's when you have to remove yourself from the equation, because let them fight with themselves. Like sometimes I wonder, who are you fighting with? Like, I'm not even fighting with you. You're fighting with yourself about me. Like I'm not even a part of this equation, and they're not going to stop. So that's when you remove yourself. Again, you block, you can't mute here on YouTube, you block, and that's it. And I used to think that blocking was so disrespectful, me too, to people, and I've learned differently now. No, I'm going to block. That's my boundary, and that's it. You know what I mean? And I don't recommend channels, because again, I can't just say it. I have to show my actions have to align with my words.
Exactly.
Don't recommend your channel. I don't want to see it. I'm not participating, and that's it.
And that's what I've done. I haven't gone, like I hit do not recommend for a lot of people. I don't go, I don't look. And it doesn't matter though. There's still like either more people have bots on my channel than I thought, or the obsession is so fucking intense that they have to be checking my channel every hour on the hour. Like it's fucking
I can't do
freaky.
it.
It's creepy.
I can't do it, Bliss. There's no way that I'm gonna be clicking into people's channels just on the chance that you may have mentioned me. Like, first of all, I'm not that self-absorbed. Secondly, I don't care what people say about me or think about me. Is none of my business unless you bring it to my door and I'm not giving anybody an invitation. So it doesn't matter. And that I keep repeating that to myself. Cindy, it doesn't matter. You know, like the people that matter are in your life. So, and you already know what they think about you. So it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Man.
And I do want to make the correlation because I've heard that like people think there's a difference between people talking about you everywhere and people tagging you when they're talking about you. I have tags off, I believe. I don't know. Or YouTube loves me because I only see like tags from you or Sophie or JJ. But I don't see the difference, tagged or not. If anything, I would think that if you're going to tag me and have me see it, like that's basically in real life saying it to my face. But really, when it comes down to it, there's no difference in tagging or not tagging.
Right. If you're making a community post saying Selfie Queen Cindy, and you just didn't put the little @ because you can't find me, you're still talking shit. Like, I don't understand that it's semantics on the most basic level. Like, we're really
I'm not
semantics.
playing the semantics game anymore.
No, and I don't care. Say what you want.
Jenna Barrett said, thanks. I know at times you may have felt I was opposing to your situation. Not so. I've been through stuff and had to change the negative. You handled my thoughts with grace, so I thank you. And I never felt like you were opposition, girl. I know there's probably been a couple instances where I didn't instantly take it the way that you were, putting it out there. And that's, again, because I was in defense mode. But I just know I appreciate you.
Yeah, Jen and Barrett, Martin's mommy, there's a few people that are the voices of reason and tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And that's important to me. People that tell me what I need to hear, but always with respect. Not, hey, bitch, you're a stupid piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's very different. We need to be told what we need to hear, not what we want to hear. That doesn't help us. That doesn't help us to grow.
And I'm not correlating everyone to someone else. I'm not attacking this person because they're friendly with this person. And to be honest, I could play that game back with all these people, but it's just not worth my time or peace. It's not. And Martin's mommy, you're right. I mean, Martin's mommy says that's why there are these bitches in this community that glob onto the newbies and get their hands dirty with their fuck shit to control them. And a lot of it is love bombing. Do you know how many people, and I have fallen for it when I was newer to YouTube, they will love bomb the fuck out of you to get them to ride for them. Nope.
And a lot of people use their wrenches as a control tactic too.
Oh, they weaponize those things.
Unless that wrench is dipped in 24 karat gold and I could take it to the pawn shop, no wrench controls me. The fuck?
And Glitter has also been someone, that was kind of thrown into this. She says, I don't mean this in a bad way, but the people that keep going at it and keep talking about the same thing over and over just have zero life. YouTube drama is their life, and without it, they have nothing. And that's, again, where the priorities come into play. Like, you can incorporate a little bit of time for some, petty, entertaining drama, but to make it your whole being, and like you are instantly seeing people post and commenting within minutes, like always, it's really fucking weird. It's weird. I feel bad for you. I don't have enough time, especially now with the new position at my job. Like, I really don't. And then I realized, there's just a lot of realizations I've come to, and just everything is put in a good perspective now. And I feel like I'm in a good place. Again, not perfect, still working on it.
And YouTube, I keep it in perspective. YouTube is a part of my life, but it is not the most important part of my life. Tangible relationships with people, being able to socialize face to face, not losing that because YouTube is my new and only way to socialize, because you become emboldened by saying things that you wouldn't normally say. So I have to keep it in perspective because I don't want to get crazy because of YouTube and somebody, bump into me on the street
And you bitch, watch where you go, and I get punched in the head because I've incorporated the way people think they could talk to people on YouTube to my personal life. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
could
Like,
you
no,
imagine? Honestly,
imagine?
like you know me, Cindy. Could you
You
imagine
crackhead,
some of
I'ma
these
crack your
people
whole jaw.
saying this to my
Right.
face? I'm
Listen.
sorry. Anyone who knows me knows how inconceivable that is.
It is
Would not.
inconceivable to me too. They wouldn't. They wouldn't. They there's no way. There's no way. Because listen, I've been taught, listen, I could take an ass whipping, but the disrespect is not gonna go unchecked. Like, I don't know what you think. I don't know what you
Yeah.
think. So
And
it's
no,
good thing it's
Jen,
online.
again, Jen and Barrett, we need people like you. Like, you have
Yes.
no idea how much you pulled perspective into me. Like,
And snap us
definitely
out of
need
it.
people.
Yeah.
And this makes me happy. Like, I need to hear this because sometimes, like, the gaslighting will
Mhm.
literally make you think, like, oh my God, am I really this bad of a fucking person?
Right.
And
Right.
I refuse to question that anymore because I know who I am. And obviously, other people see who I am. And although I'm flawed and I'm not perfect, it makes me feel really good that someone like Jen and Barrett, who is just full of positivity,
Yes.
also sees the positive in me. And I want that to be seen more than, oh, look, Bliss is going after someone else. And not to say that I won't.
Yeah.
I ain't looking for it. If you bring me to the table, I may pull up to fucking eat.
Right. That's right. That's right.
So
And me, I just don't even go in the restaurant anymore.
yeah. Mm-hmm. And I tried. Like,
I
I'm
know.
gonna have a healthy balance of that.
That's right. And I ain't mad at you. Sometimes they put the food in front of you. You just got to take a bite out of the bitch. I get it.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, I think, Cindy, I think this is probably a good place to end it.
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
kind of like the halfway mark of like
Yeah.
my time stamp. So I'm just gonna highlight where we left off. That way I
Okay.
don't forget.
Yeah, because I'm going live with Sophie at 2:30.
I know,
So I
I
get
know.
to eat lunch and then come back on with Soph.
Oh, good. I was trying to end by 1, so going
Yeah.
15 minutes over is a good.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And try not to overtalk her.
Oh,
That's funny.
Jesus. Please don't take that to heart.
I know.
Anyone who knows you, it's funny. Someone else I support used to have a supporter moderator that would get like really excited on panel, and it may
Mhm.
sound like sometimes he was over talking or taking over, but
Yeah.
you could tell it was just the excitement of the conversation. And I
Yeah.
feel like people need to distinguish that in between someone who they think, oh, they're just over talking her and blah blah blah. Like, there's a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't ever just invite myself on Sophie. She invites me, and she's my friend. I enjoy having conversations with her. And if she's okay with me, coming back on her panel and invites me, I'm going to go.
And I know you take everything to heart, but I really don't want you to internalize that to the point where it's bothering you.
Yeah, because I just want to respect people's channels. Like, I don't want to do anything to harm your channel or your subscribers,
But
don't
we
want to
know
listen
that.
to you. You know what I
We
mean?
know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the people that don't like you will continue, and again, it's all about the approach. I feel like some people addressed it with valid criticism, and some
Yes.
people were just instantly like on the attack to you. So
Yeah, and I was
Praise
okay. I
God.
accepted the criticism, and I went to Sophie and I apologized for over talking her sometimes because I became excited. So I will, work on it. I'm working on it. Yeah.
Well, I love you, girl.
I love
Thank
you too, and thank you.
And we'll probably do the second part maybe next Tuesday.
That sounds like a plan to me.
All right,
And
make
thank
sure
you all for being here.
Yeah, I want to real quick. I just want to drop Sophie's channel.
Yes.
Because she is going to go live with Cindy again soon.
Yes. Today at 2:30. Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. 2:30. And there is the link for that. And again, I'm going to drop all the channels that we commentated on today in the description. But thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. And Cindy, I will see you in a little bit.
Okay, love you. And please hit that like button on your way out if you haven't already. Love you guys.
Love you. Thank you guys. Have a good day.
Oh, shoot.